Welcome, family, friends, guardians, and supporters of this, our 2025 graduating class. I am Anthony Pisapia, head of school at Marshall School. We're thankfully here tonight to celebrate our very special and very dear seniors. Welcome also to our alumni who are present, our board of trustees, and our faculty and staff. Welcome, finally, to the class of 2025, to your graduation. Tonight, you become Marshall alumni. As such, you enroll in a 120-year tradition and join thousands who came before you. It's a tremendous honor to be part of this group of people that has achieved so much. We know that you too will achieve much and continue to make us all proud as you make your way in the world. I'd like to begin this graduation ceremony by giving thanks to a few different groups of people. Class of 2025, would you please join me in this section and stand? Okay, as I announce each successive group, please remain standing. First, we'll honor 4 Marshall teachers who've contributed to the Marshall community for 25 years or more. Lori Durant, Scott Kylander Johnson, Tony Lockhart, and Karen Snyder. Please stand. The partnership between student and teacher is a hallmark of Marshall School, and it's at the heart of education. At this time, will the rest of the Marshall faculty please stand to be recognized? Thank you for your inspiration, your counsel, your wisdom, and your patience. Another crucial partnership is the one between our families and the school. This partnership is one that has sustained us and this class. Would all those who are standing please join me in thanking these supporters of our 2025 graduates. You may be seated. At this time, I'd like to invite Eiley King and Audrey Moeller to the podium to offer the opening readings.
Instructions on Not Giving Up by Ada Limon. More than the fuchsia funnels breaking out of the crab apple tree, more than the neighbor's almost obscene display of cherry limbs shoving their cotton candy-colored blossoms to the slate sky of spring rains, it's the greening of the trees that really gets to me. When all the shock of white and taffy, the world's baubles and trinkets, leave the pavement strewn with the confetti of aftermath, the leaves come. Patient, plodding, a green skin growing over whatever winter did to us. A return to the strange idea of continuous living despite the mess of us, the hurt, the empty. Fine then, I'll take it, the tree seems to say, a new slick leaf unfurling like a fist to an open palm. I'll take it all.
Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
Dear class of 2025, I want to state unequivocally and finally that each of us gathered here today are proud of you. The exception might be your siblings, if you have siblings. They need more time for their pride in you to emerge. It's difficult at the age you are to describe and have you understand just how hard it was to get you here, to this moment. I'm speaking to you now on behalf of your families, your teachers, your host families, everyone here, especially your siblings. Caring for you, raising you, teaching you, all of it was hard, all of it was meaningful. We want everything for you, all of the possibilities. We want every promise that was made to you to be kept. We want all your dreams fulfilled. You came into our lives like a force. Elizabeth Barrett Browning has a stanza in a poem called Memory and Hope that reminds me of your impact on us. Poor memory's brain is wild as moonstruck by that flaming atmosphere. When she was born, her deep eyes shine and shone with light that conquereth sun. And stars to wane her paleness year by year, with odorous gums she mixes things defiled. She tramples down earth's grasses, green and sweet, with her far-wandering feet. And for those of us that love you and continue, we watch you in awe as the earth bends to your will. As you go so confidently forward, you seem to chew the scenery around you. We watch your lives open up in front of us, and it's a sight to behold. You see, there's only so much experience we had before there was you. You came into our lives with light that conquereth the sun. You changed us, and we know what it took to get to this point. It was hard, but you made it look easy. There were moments as you grew older where we had no control, those breathless moments where we watched you make choices, not all of which we agreed with. But we watch you now, knowing that you get to write the rest of your story the way you choose. We're proud of your fierceness, your incorruptible will. We know you have so much ahead of you that you will conquer. My hope for you, class of 2025, is that this evening gives you a strong sense of the depth and breadth of support you have now as you embark on the next stage of your life. We're all here because of you. You are, in so many ways, the fulfillment of our hopes and dreams. Now is the time for you to go out and fulfill your own. We're here to wish you well on your way. Godspeed, Marshall class of 2025. Now I'd like to welcome up Megan Perry Spears, head of Upper School, to introduce our student speakers.
We are in for a treat. We have two amazing young people who will be sharing their reflections and thoughts with you. Nada Hutchinson is the senior speaker, and Gabby Merton is your valedictorian. I will introduce both speakers at this time, and then they will follow me one after another to the podium. Nada Hutchinson brings a delightful passion to the world. Nada is profoundly connected to the people she encounters. Indeed, she is joy personified. When asked what kind of impact she wants to have on the world, she said, "We need to be good at listening and nurturing what emerges from within the person we are with, not putting our ideas on them, but rather celebrating and uplifting the ideas and values that emerge." She loves community and relationships, but also loves learning. She gets really jazzed when she encounters something, maybe something in biochem, that is almost incomprehensible, mind-boggling at first, but then going through the process of letting the solid truth emerge, going through the process of finding a knowable and provable truth. The process is important, of finding and letting truth, value, and excellence emerge. I think this is probably why skiing is so rewarding for Nada. Skiing is a sport that is all about the process and the long trail of letting things emerge. Don't get me wrong, she also has 3 older brothers, so a healthy dose of competition is in there too. Her mom has given her a love of people, of giving people the benefit of the doubt. Her father has given her a passion and dedication for helping people and finding solutions. This summer, she is going to continue her training for skiing, spending a lot of time outdoors, and connect with people, serving up dishes of delight as a scooper at Love Creamery, before she heads to St. Michael's College in Vermont, where she will ski competitively, build connections with the people she encounters, and discover new problems to solve. Gabby Merton embodies the love of learning. She's come a long way to stand on this stage in Duluth, Minnesota. Born in southern Brazil, she has demonstrated an amazing ability to adapt and overcome challenges, from learning English as a second language to overcoming dyslexia, and embrace a new culture and a new way of life. And embrace it she has. She competed in alpine skiing for years and has spent weeks of every summer paddling the lakes and the rivers of northern Minnesota and Canada. From her scientist father, she has learned academic rigor, and from her physician mother, she has learned to be curious about others and to approach the world with the question, how can I make this better? Gabby has served as the chief district judge for the statewide Youth in Government program, participated as a page at the Minnesota House of Representatives, lobbied on behalf of the Boundary Waters in Washington, D.C., and managed to insert the topic of city zoning into every competitive speech that she presented. Awesome. After a canoeing trip this summer on a river in the Arctic Circle, Gabby will be attending Carleton College this fall, where she hopes to study economics and political science. And I know that she will continue to put her drive, her intellect, her problem solving, and her compassion into making the world a much better place. What a joy to hear from these amazing people. Give it up first for Nada Hutchinson and then for Gabby Merton. Nada, come on up.
Good afternoon, class of 2025. I'm addressing you and the audience today as a trusted representative of our class experience. As classmates, we often notice our differences outweighing what we have in common. Some of us excel most as academic thinkers, like Ethan and Lizzie, who can often be found in the lab, solving the mysteries of their chemicals and enzymes. Some of us are most dedicated to our sports. Students like Avery, Nina, and Ray, who put grueling hours into training for hockey. Still others come to the forefront of the class as leaders. Luke leading the robotics team to state and hyping up the Teen Science Cafe, shout out to Biochar, and Shirley joining student council as a senior to practice her leadership. It was hard for me as I brainstormed this speech to come up with the words to define us as one big group. It was difficult for me to come to terms with our mash of people. However, I realized that being made up of mismatched identities is what made us strong and resilient. It's what differentiates us. It's what makes us unique. Our differences, which once set us apart, made us anxious, hyper-aware, and out of place, now define our successes and validate our strengths. We have grown and changed to morph our identities, mashing into one beacon of Marshall, our once polarizing differences settling as celebrated niches. Through our journey at Marshall began at different stages, we all began feeling like outsiders. For the 12 students in 4th grade, we felt like a separate entity. Not yet middle school, pushed into the far corner of the building, we became like one of Mr. Freeze's albino snakes, something interesting and intriguing, able to look out on the bustling school, but separated by impenetrable glass. Community became a commodity that we were aware of, but not immersed in. And in this way, cheering at homecoming assemblies and school activities was easy. We had nothing to prove to those older than us. We owed no image to the school. Through the transformation of middle school, we became self-aware. As 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, we ruled the D-wing, but we had appearances to keep up. We couldn't show too much excitement or pride, and it seemed like we had nothing to call our own. However, our strengths and individuality were encouraged through available opportunities. The 6th grade balloon launch became a time for everyone to explore their own interests. Some conquered their fears of public speaking to be announcers of the launch. Some fashioned the recording mechanisms to work on design and engineering, and some, like Aaron, walked across the path of and got clocked in the head by the weather balloon. To work on resiliency, of course. Through our embarrassment, our trials, and our errors, we started to form an answer to the question of, who are we? Time marched on, and so did we, stepping into our role as high schoolers. Our priorities began to change as we realized that school was getting more difficult. We focused on ourselves as individuals and less on who we were as a class. The stress of advanced classes and discussions of which clubs and programs to join that would help us in our future college majors weighed heavily on our shoulders. For some, extracurriculars were the stem of stress. The fall musical demanded grueling hours from Charlie and Eiley as actors, stagehands, and creative managers of the play were required to return to school in the evening and stay late into the night. Although they struggled, their stress relented on opening night as classmates arrived to show their support. Our maturity was also tested throughout high school. Camp Warren's service day, which, if you ask me, was basically an excuse for kids to do unpaid labor, tested our skills of adaptability, and we used our scrappiness, our experience of being overlooked, to persevere. We now saw the bigger picture, and we could motivate ourselves through our experiences. Although many of us are leaving Marshall as a high school, we now feel closer than ever. We now almost know too well the once foreign hallways of high school. We know ourselves, and we know we've accomplished things alone, which build us up as a class. At a modest class size of 48, we've had numerous team and individual state competitions, 9 college sports commits, and several Centurion Service Award winners. Beyond these recognizable achievements, we've learned to harness our experiences and become resilient. We've learned to ask for help. And in Dr. Rohde's class, we asked for the occasional 3rd Street Bakery cookies he's known to sneak into class. We've now used our strengths and development as individuals to become leaders and examples for those who follow in our footsteps. Some set examples in direct ways, like Audrey, who has put countless hours into volunteering and has been recognized by several awards for her dedication to the community. Some inspire by challenging the status quo, like Oscar and Noah, whose perspectives and opinions in class make those around them question what they once believed. Some have a more subtle impact, like Thomas, who went from jumping into Brewery Creek on research day in freshman year to taking leaps of faith by committing to play soccer in college. As a class, we've accomplished things and proved that our differences were not a shortcoming, but a strength. With the world changing at a constant and rapid pace, and the narrative that differences in thought, in passions, and in skills are a bad thing or should be suppressed, I urge us graduates to think back to 4th grade, or 6th or 9th, whenever you began at Marshall, and remember how while your differences once made you feel small, they are now the very reason you are being celebrated and the cause of your impact on the world. Though we felt separated back then as wide-eyed and nervous 4th graders, 7 of the 12 of us are now on this stage, being applauded for our oneness, celebrated for setting the bar. We will once again be the underdogs, the unknowns, struggling to create our own impacts under pressure and sometimes feeling alone, but we can take comfort in knowing that we have the tools to overcome our struggles. From feeling like outsiders to becoming leaders of the Marshall community, we've proved the odds wrong again and again. As we step into our next chapter, let's carry forward our resilience, our unharmonious unity that has defined our growth. Thank you.
I'm so honored to be here today. I want to express my gratitude to everyone who showed up today to support my classmates and me. I know I couldn't have gotten through high school without support from so many wonderful people. So, thank you to all my teachers for encouraging me to dig deeper, to my coaches for putting up with my anxiety before every competition, and a big thank you to my mom for proofreading my essays when spell check doesn't quite cut it. And thank you to Mary Oliver for always having a poem that eloquently expresses every feeling. Graduation brings up a lot of mixed feelings: relief, joy, terror. But I'm not Mary Oliver, and putting those feelings into words, into my own words, well, it's been a struggle. Don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of practice writing throughout my high school career. Book reports, lab write-ups, and many, many AP free responses from Ms. Holst classes. And while I can now whip out an essay on the economic impact of the Mongol Empire in shaping world trade, it's been a while since I've written anything without a rubric in mind. I spent a lot of time searching online for a template, watching viral graduation speeches on YouTube, but there is nothing that could tell me how to write this speech. I had to figure it out for myself. In high school, it's been easy to follow set paths. 4 years of English, math, and science, an established route where the options are intentionally constrained to provide us with a solid basic education. But with our graduation looming, the world has opened up. Now, we are creating our own paths. For me, as exciting as that is, it's also been scary. I know many of us struggled with the questions of, should I take a gap year? Should I go to a big school or a small school? Should I just give it all up and go raise goats in the mountains? What do I want to do? Who do I want to be? I doubt I'll figure it all out in college. In fact, from what I hear, those feelings only grow. Self-actualization is a lifelong process, I guess. So what do I do? I've always been taught that when making big decisions, it can be helpful to fall back onto core values. Anyone remember doing that exercise last August with college counseling? It feels like a lifetime ago. I know we all have our own values informed by our unique life experiences. But I urge you, class of 2025, to keep one value in mind as you go through your paths in life: compassion. Even as we hear time and time again that our lives are just beginning, in other ways, I can't help but feel that the world is ending. People who know me will attest that I'm a worrier. I fret and I hem, and my brain is always calculating the worst case scenarios. Pandemics, climate disasters, economic uncertainty, and ChatGPT all feel like things out of a sci-fi story. not current events to be learned about in real time on TikTok. We're a generation experiencing immense change. The world seems to be at an inflection point, as old paradigms no longer hold true, but the future remains amorphous. However, opportunities to forge new paths abound despite what's happening around us. It's overwhelming to be bombarded with constant tragedy in second-long videos, access to the 24/7 news cycles, people losing their jobs, their life savings, their homes, while seemingly never-ending wars rage overseas. Closer to home, we were devastated by the loss of 2 beloved members of the Marshall community this year. Their lights snuffed out far too soon. These losses will stay with us. But rather than letting ourselves go down a path of despair or apathy, we can lean into caring and connection. There's so much we don't have control over, but we have control over our own actions. Our paths as Marshall graduates can be to alleviate suffering in a myriad of small and simple and grand and simple ways. That might be a big ask, but I've already seen so many of you doing just that. Everything we've done over the last 4 years has been building to this. The hundreds of hours of volunteering, the late night studying, the time spent cheering on our teammates and our friends on stage, and every small gesture of kindness, coffees bought and hugs given. All of this has been preparing us for a life spent in service to our communities. Some of you are going to go on to be doctors saving lives or artists who make lives worth living. Some of you are going to be teachers and coaches who mentor kids who will grow up knowing they are seen. And some of you are going to be the kind of friend who always listens, a neighbor who brings over cookies, a parent with a loving home. I'd like to share a line from Mary Oliver's poem, The Summer Day, that encompasses this moment. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Each and every one of you has a role to play in creating the world we all deserve. A world where we bring our intention and our compassion to making the world a better place. Thank you.
Our commencement address this year is offered by an alum who I am proud to introduce, Dr. Audrey Cederberg, Marshall Class of 2002. Dr. Cederberg is a physicist and neuroscientist who studies how brains make sense of the world. She earned her undergraduate degree in physics from Harvey Mudd College, where she wrote a thesis on string theory before shifting her focus to the mysteries of the brain. After completing a PhD at Princeton, she spent the next decade as a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Chicago, Georgia Tech, and Emory University, eventually founding her own lab at the University of Minnesota in 2021. She now leads the Matrix Laboratory at Georgia Tech. She's also a mom of 2, soon to be 3, and a big fan of biking, running, and getting lost in new cities. Please welcome me, join me in welcoming Dr. Audrey Cederberg.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here today. When I sat where you are today, there was no TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, or ChatGPT. Most of us didn't have cell phones, and smartphones were still half a decade in the future. Cars had no navigation systems or infotainment centers, and MapQuest replaced actual road atlases. those books that have maps in them across many pages, so when you reach the end of one map, you turned the page. By contrast, MapQuest gave detailed, step-by-step directions to your destination, which you would literally print out before leaving on a trip. Woe unto you if you deviated from that path, or met a detour, or a traffic jam, or if you changed your mind about where you were going. When I sat where you are today, I knew pretty well where I'd go. And at the surface level, that's pretty much where I went. A string of stints at prestigious colleges and universities, an undergraduate degree from Harvey Mudd College, a graduate degree in physics at Princeton, postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Chicago. Like Mileva Maric, I married a fellow physics student, and I had a couple of children. And if that name doesn't ring a bell, it's worth a quick Google search after commencement of Einstein's first wife. After Chicago, though, my husband started his lab at Georgia Tech, and I struggled to do the same. It may come as a shock that small children are demanding and not exactly compatible with being competitive for academic positions. So when we moved to Atlanta, I took more work as a postdoc, first at Georgia Tech and then at Emory University. I'd been a postdoc for 8 years, not the usual 2 to 3, when I found a mentor, Ilya Nemenman, who had the decency to tear apart my work and in order to teach me how to craft a scientific narrative. And this was the tough feedback that I needed to finally get traction in the job market. And in the spring of 2020, I landed a tenure-track position at the University of Minnesota in the Department of Neuroscience, one of the top 10 departments in the country. The first of many difficult choices, though. My family would not move from Georgia. My husband's lab was better established, and who knew if I would be successful? There was no option forthcoming in Georgia for me, so at the beginning of 2021, I started my lab in Minnesota, flying back and forth every couple of weeks. Leaving the kids behind on those weeks was tough, but things started to go very well in Minnesota. I brought in around $1 million from the NIH in grant funding for my own projects. I found dozens of colleagues in the department eager to collaborate with me. I had found a place where I brought value and I was valued. But things were difficult on the home front. That everything was online during the pandemic and the years following meant I was only in Minnesota about 10 days per month. It was still hard. After a couple of years, my success at Minnesota led to a job offer from Georgia Tech, but there was no such offer for my husband to move to Minnesota. Another choice, then. Give up the job at the place where I'd found my own professional footing after so many years of trying, or sacrifice that to keep the family together. Ultimately, I chose to move the lab to Georgia, and the transition was hard. The difficulties at home did not get better. There is a time for compromise, but don't forget that it goes both ways. At some point, you may look around and realize that you have strayed so far from those metaphorical MapQuest directions that you might as well be on someone else's path. What followed were harrowing decisions, ones that risked everything, turned friends against me, and certainly deviated from that narrowly defined path I saw for myself at high school graduation. But this was accompanied by freedom and happiness. Now, almost 2 years later, I'm still at Georgia Tech for as long as I want to be there, and I have a wonderful group of students and postdocs working for me. I still have collaborations with multiple labs at Minnesota, and I'm developing exciting new areas of research. I have a new partner in life who may someday be convinced to move to Minnesota even. As you sit here today, you face a dramatically different world from the one I did. MapQuest has thankfully died, replaced by technology far more adept at remapping, rerouting, and changing your destination. I don't mean only navigational assistance. For you, these algorithms control your feeds, the language models powering AI, For you, these technologies are not only about physical navigation, but about navigating a rich and complex landscape of choices in life. You face new hazards, the voracious appetite of AI for your personal information, the ease of using generative artificial intelligence to make decisions for you based on this information, the infinite adaptability of modern technology to your whims, wishes, and desires. My professorial side cautions you to not lean too heavily on these tools. Don't neglect technology completely, but spend enough time on your own work, on finding your own work, whatever it is, that you know it better than anyone or anything else. May you be blessed with mentors who see the value of your work and care enough to give you difficult feedback so that you continue to grow. You've reached the end of the map that your families and teachers and friends and mentors laid out for you. There were many paths through this map, and each of you took your own to get here today. Now you turn a page. In the years to come, you will meet obstacles. You will change your mind about where you are going. You will make hard decisions, and there may not be a right decision to make. You will disappoint people, and not everything you do will make the people you love happy. And that's okay. Remember to put down the map now and again and see the real world around you. With love, respect, and every good wish. Go get 'em, Hilltoppers.
The Hilltopper Award is given at graduation to the senior student who best represents the values and beliefs of Marshall School as espoused in our mission statement that reads, inspiring lifelong learners to embrace challenge and create positive change. This senior exemplifies the school's core values of respect, integrity, compassion, self-discipline, strong academic habits, and intellectual curiosity. From the class of 2025, 11 seniors were nominated for this honor, and this year we have 2 seniors who will receive this recognition. In selecting this first senior, the faculty had many comments to describe the special member of the class of 2025. This senior is a superstar, uber involved, humble, adaptable, is an inclusive leader, and is mature beyond their years. This Hilltopper always works hard at school. They are an inspiration to their peers, young ones, and teachers. This senior is kind, thoughtful, meets people where they're at, and is always willing to do the hard things that allow others to feel heard and seen. This senior has so joyfully gifted their talents and time to Marshall. They exemplify service. The senior's calm demeanor, proactive engagement, and optimistic attitude permeate their everyday interactions. This Hilltopper is empathetic, approachable, thoughtful, passionate, intellectual, and altruistic. The senior embraces her skills as an artist and promotes art to others. The senior is an accomplished poetry reader, speaking slowly, eloquently, enunciating each word in a cadence that captivates all of your attention, like children watching magic, mouth agape with wonder and awe. This senior is an advocate for women's health and spectrum. This senior will create positive change in the world. Mr. Whitaker, will you join me in honoring the senior? On behalf of the Marshall faculty and staff, please join me in honoring Sage McCabe. The second senior is equally as special. The faculty had this to say about this person. This senior always finds time to check in with you. They are such a kind and warm soul. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to teach this senior for the last 2 years. This senior was described as having a big heart, lots of school spirit, selfless with time, emotionally intelligent, mature, and has given back to Marshall in so many ways. This senior exudes kindness and joy. This Hilltopper makes space for everyone in the community. They are kindness personified. When their name is mentioned, every single person smiles. The senior has given so much time and energy to promoting events for the Hilltopper community. The senior is really nice and makes people feel welcomed, is really respectful of others. This Hilltopper is inclusive, always inviting others to join, whether it is a new student or a younger student who is new to the activity. This Hilltopper fully participates at Marshall and is always willing to help. They offer to help without even being asked. This senior exemplifies our values in every way. He is incredibly curious and will be a lifelong learner, whatever he chooses to do. Ms. Perry Spears, will you join me in presenting this senior? On behalf of the Marshall faculty and staff, please join me in congratulating Ethan Perlinger.
The performance of the Battle Hymn of the Republic at Marshall graduation has been a tradition for decades. It was started so long ago, no one remembers when, though it's likely some crazy head of school thought it was a good idea. Elements of the song date back to the early 1800s, though the celebrated text, this arrangement draws its title from words that were written during the American Civil War. It's a popular song among Union soldiers as they fought to maintain the Union and end the institution of slavery in Confederate states. In subsequent years, the powerful melody has been adapted as an anthem for a number of causes, from women's liberation and suffrage, anti-war movements, and struggles for labor rights. While the performance of this song at graduation predates the current Marshall mission statement, the many texts of the song focus on people who embrace challenge and create positive change. And this message is one we hope our graduates take to heart as they leave Marshall. We have 3 band seniors graduating today who have been a part of this tradition for many years. Please give them and all the band members a round of applause as they perform the Battle Hymn of the Republic. We will now award diplomas to the class of 2025. I want to express our appreciation to past and present members of the Cathedral and Marshall Board of Trustees for their service to the school. Without their dedication and philanthropy, a Hilltopper education would not be possible. Nels Ojard, current president of the Marshall Board of Trustees, will assist me in presenting diplomas to the graduates. Because we are equally proud of each person who will walk across the stage, I ask the audience to hold its applause until all diplomas have been awarded.
Olivia Joanne Allen. Aurelia Jean Anderson. Oscar Eugene Edward Angus. Aaron James Ricks Batchelder. Maxwell Lucas Beresford. Gwendon Elaine Chilco. Darby Thomas Dwyer. Thomas Michael Folger. Noah Martin Heller. Anna Adele Rome. Nada Mary Moonflower Hutchinson. Aubrey Saravia Johnson. Brooks Hartley Johnson. Ivy Emma King. Daniel Gung Ko. Alexia Lynn LaValle. Avery Maxine Lynn. Grace Junie Lu. Stella Dioro Lozano. Dylan Thomas Mackey. Owen Jerome Marsala. Charlie Addison Bell Mayfield. Audrey Grace Moeller. Annabelle Jean Monroe. Nicholas Scott Moore. Briar Elia Morozek. Charlie Min No. Natalie Nee No. Teddy Huang Win. Adia Rose Nygaard. Ethan Thomas Perlinger. Luca Anthony Pisapia. Anna Lee Raines. Quentin Schiller Roth. Zoe Shiloh Southwood. Henry Roy Schultz. Foster William Schultz. Kay Jackson Siegel. Gianna Ruth Ilona Smith. Miles Alexander Sundin. Katrina Natasha Thorson. Lizzie Catherine Van Hees. Shirley Chun Chun Wong. Luke Allen Weiss. Landon Dale Wheeler. Wyatt Allen Zappa. I invite the graduates, the newest members of the Alumni Association, to please stand. Turn your tassels and receive the congratulations of the audience.
stand if you are able. Thank you. For the singing of the alma mater, Luminaire. The words are printed on the inside of your program. To close, I would like to welcome Matt Whitaker, head of Lower School, to the stage.
Here we are at the end. As the saying goes, where one door closes, another opens. But I want to draw your attention to a slightly different door analogy. As we bring our time together in celebration of you all to a close, an analogy of a sliding door. Relationship researcher Dr. John Gottman in The Science of Trust defines sliding door moments as seemingly inconsequential everyday moments where there is a choice to turn toward or turn away. Throughout your time at Marshall, you've accumulated countless such moments, many of those you've likely proceeded through unconsciously. Yet still, they all have brought you to this moment. And it is this accumulation that reminded me of one of my favorite short stories, Sandra Cisneros 11, from her book, The House on Mango Street. It begins, what they don't understand about birthdays, and what they never tell you, is that when you're 11, you're also 10, and 9, and 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. And when you wake up up on your 11th birthday, you expect to feel 11, but you don't. You open your eyes and everything is just like yesterday, only it's today. And you don't feel 11 at all. You feel like you're still 10, and you are, underneath the year that makes you 11. Like some days you might say something stupid, and that's the part of you that's still 10. Or maybe some days you might need to sit on your mama's lap because you're scared, and that's the part of you that's 5. And maybe one day, when you're all grown up, maybe you'll need to cry like you're 3. And that's okay, because the way you grow old is kind of like an onion, or like the rings inside a tree trunk, or like my little wooden dolls that fit one inside the other, each year inside the next one. That's how being 11 years old is. You don't feel 11, not right away. It takes a few days, weeks even, sometimes even months before you say 11 when they ask you. And you don't feel smart 11, not until you're almost 12. That's the way it is. This is a momentous day, and already you have in you who you are alongside each of the iterations you have already been. You have the tools to succeed along the next adventure your journey takes you toward. In this moment, you are a graduate, but you are also the chemist who discovered the makeup of the mystery solution, the athlete who left it all in the contest, the actor who brought a character to life, the leader who stood up for their vision, the musician who patiently prepared to realize a beautiful performance, the friend, the classmate, the mathematician, and artist, and writer, and researcher. You see, what Gottman refers to when he talks about sliding door moments is trust. Trust built on moving toward the choice to be fully you. Trust in yourself, your compassion, commitment, your integrity, your curiosity, and the strong academic foundation that you have built during your time at Marshall. As you leave today, when both everything has changed and very little has changed, remember that you are ready for this next step. Pay attention to the sliding door choices, mindfully walk through them, and may you always be playful, resilient, and filled with a roaring fire to pursue your dreams. All right, at this time, please remain standing. That would be all of you. Until the faculty and graduate, oh, no, sorry, that's it. I should have practiced this part. Yeah, this time, everyone, please remain standing. There we go. Until the faculty and graduates have recessed for the traditional Topper Tunnel, you're invited to join us in the main courtyard to congratulate the graduates and for refreshments. Thank you for being with us today to celebrate the Marshall School Class of 2025.